really sets our trends apart from many of the other great trend reports that are out there on corporate learning and development is our perspective. And that's really, we come at it from the business of learning. So our answers, our trends, the things we're looking for are really the things that impact the performance of organizations and allow employees to be the best they can be. So we're really looking for big changes that are going to affect how well learning and development can drive that performance. The way we bring together the annual trends report is really a fun process. It's sort of at the core of who we are. It's a big collaboration across all of the various organizations that make up training industry, including our editorial team, our data analytics group, our marketing team looks at trends on the website and the consumption patterns. It includes our editorial team who are constantly getting articles from article submissions from the field. It includes our marketing events team who are constantly watching webinars and being involved in selecting presenters for our events. So all of that information has to come together at least once a year so that we can put together what we see as the trends in the corporate training market.
All employees can benefit from leadership training because leadership isn't just a title, it's really a skill set. So by extending leadership training to everyone, you're really building a pipeline of leaders who can step into that role when the time comes. But even if employees don't end up in a formal leadership role, those skills will benefit them in any position or role that they end up in.
Oh, it's so important for L&D to be involved in succession planning. The two really go hand in hand. When we think about succession planning, we're really trying to identify the critical competencies and skills at each level that would make somebody prepared to move into that job role. And so we might use a person's current skills and abilities to select them into a job role. Well, how are they going to get those skills and abilities to move into that role without leadership development? So when we think about leadership development, we really have to consider the entire pipeline. What are the skills and competencies that are needed, not just for the level that our leaders are at or our high potentials, but also what are the competencies that are going to be needed at that next level, and make sure that we're building development efforts in so that they're not only prepared for their current role, but also their future one. It's so important that we provide leadership opportunities to individual contributors, individuals who are not in those kind of managerial roles, to help kind of give them some opportunity to test the waters and see if they like it, but also to help with that succession planning to identify those individuals who might be appropriate to move on. So a couple of kind of strategies that we can use, particularly experiential opportunities is a great one. So if we can give individual contributors some opportunities to lead a special project or to lead a cross-functional team on a temporary project, this can really give them the opportunity to practice delegating, to practice managing work, and to receive feedback in a low-stakes scenario that's not as important as when they get into that leadership role.
I think start small, really thinking about incorporating leadership skills into general training programs. So skills like decision-making, communication, offering feedback. So putting those skills into all programs, I think makes a lot of sense. And you can also set up maybe mentorship or coaching programs for employees and offering stretch assignments that really let employees practice skills on the job in kind of that low stakes environment. And I think kind of something often overlooked is employees need to be aware that these opportunities exist. So L&D really needs to tell employees that leadership development is available to everyone and not just current leaders.
Exciting trend, at least the area that we talk about in the 2025 report, to me, is the impact AI is going to have on the learning and development function. There are so many potential applications. We're starting to see live examples of them. We've even developed an agent to support our members. So So that's, I think, the most exciting part of the trends report, but there are some other really good ones too.
AI is being used to transform the learning experience, I think, in two ways. One of them obvious and visible to the learner, one of them invisible to the learner. So on the visible side, you have AI agents being introduced into courses, AI support chatbots, and all those sorts of things. So the employee knows that are interacting with AI. So the AI tool is directly influencing what the learner is choosing to do, because that's what they're bouncing off of. But then there's the invisible way that AI is changing things, either through algorithms that are underneath learning journeys, or helping instructional designers put together content. So AI can have an influence on the learning experience behind the scenes, where the employee or learner themselves never actually see it, or the thumbprint of AI is invisible to them. AI can help with reinforcement, because I know, because I've done it. Writing test questions is not easy, and an AI is not going to do a fantastic job, but it will at least do most of the job for you. So if you need to come up with an assessment based on a training module, you can have an AI help you with that, because the questions don't need to be bulletproof, like you're throwing them into an SAT or GRE or something like that. They need to be content relevant. And that's what more or less makes the information stick.
So AI has the opportunity to provide a great tool for L&D professionals to use to help develop their programs and to help as a reinforcement tool. One caution or challenge that L&D professionals should really consider when they're adopting AI is that the AI agent is only going to be as good as its knowledge base. So if the agent's been trained on your proprietary information, that's great. If it hasn't, you really need to make a caution of filtering the outputs of the AI through your own contextual scenario. Job titles can be really confusing. They run the gambit. So even when we look in L&D, there are so many different job titles that either describe the same exact work but have very different ways that they are titled, or very similar job titles that actually describe very different kinds of job roles. So this move towards skills and this emphasis on skills is really reflecting a need to be more precise. What is it that's really required in each of those job roles, and what is it that the worker really needs to have available to be able to be successful in the job role? Technology can absolutely help when we think about skills. So in the past, when we thought about skills and skills taxonomies, it was really unwieldy to try to combine all of that information into one. But technology has created a scenario where it's much easier to aggregate information from various different skills taxonomies and your own organization into one kind of comprehensive look. Skills transparency is really the great equalizer. It's kind of democratized availability and visibility into what skills are needed at each job role. So it really helps employees when they have visibility into the kinds of skills that are needed across different job roles and levels. It helps them to make those informed decisions about what they want to develop, where they want to focus their development time and their energy. It also helps them to kind of assess themselves against whether or not they're a good fit for a specific role. So in the past, an individual might not apply for a role thinking that they aren't appropriate, right? They've got that imposter syndrome. They don't think there's any way they might get it. But when they are able to look and see what specific skills are aligned to that role and compare it against the skills that they have, it can create this equalizer, because now they might feel more encouraged to really go after that. One of the most important steps to improving transparency is to publish your skills taxonomy and make it accessible to your workforce. When you empower your workforce with this information, it helps them to really understand and visualize what skills are needed at different levels of the organization and helps them to kind of plan their development. By publishing it and making it accessible, you're starting to build that into the DNA of the organization. such that people are going to start talking in that language of skills. And when they're talking in that language of skills, they're also thinking in that language of skills. You can make sure that you're building it into your professional development plans, encouraging assessment conversations. And then the last thing that I would do to improve that transparency is just make sure you're publishing opportunities for development as well, and making it clear when you market those development opportunities to your learners what skills each of those opportunities is focused on.
The top one is being able to know what the challenges are, getting a seat at that table and really starting to build alignment. Having those kinds of networks allow you to uncover really valuable insights for the organization. It allows you to design more aligned and targeted learning for the organization. And being able to have a really contextual knowledge of what's happening in other departments can really give you an advantage in having an impact as you're building programs out to meet the needs of these individuals. Internally, you can influence buy-in with the organization and really getting your programs implemented and getting feedback and making adjustments. And externally, it gives you a line of sight as to what others are doing for benchmarking or just kind of seeing where you are in the industry.
So a strong network equips you with diverse perspectives and potential resources. Internally, it can ensure alignment with organizational goals, and it can also foster collaboration. Externally, it can help keep you informed with industry trends, innovative practices, and potential solutions that your organization might experience and maybe some other organizations have been able to address with these different practices that they use. So this can it can really help bring first value perspective to your organization.
Things are happening every day at the organization. So really being involved in that is why it's important to engage. It helps you align with business goals. Having a deeper understanding of the business and the operations helps you align to have a bigger impact. And developing relations with different departments and functions make it easier to collaborate and have collaborative conversations later on. And so how you can make the case is really using the relationships you have to make a case for more learning proactively, being able to understand and having a full line of sight, being able to work with these others through their relationship.
If you can frame L&D as a business enabler and offer insights or solutions tied to current challenges or opportunities, I think that really help. So definitely, speak the language of business.
So for me, top one is communication skills right off the bat, right? Being able to articulate what you are looking for adds value. It allows you to get buy-in and gain support from executives and stakeholders. So right away. Secondly, a strategic alignment, being able to ensure that your learning programs are directly aligned to business goals. This is what you need to build strong relationships. Business acumen, being able to have conversations with executives and stakeholders, being able to visualize information for them, speaking their language will ensure that you are able to deliver on learning initiatives. And along with this, understanding the data and being able to use metrics to demonstrate the impact of learning to really ensure the alignment. And then, of course, lastly, adaptability. I have worked with so many different learning professionals and things change really quickly within the organization, and being able to adapt and align your programs and grow allows you the ability to work with organizations, and it's something that builds trust and showcases flexibility in you and your team.
At the basic level, change is about people, and who knows people better than L&D? And L&D can really help guide employees through change. They can help them make sense of it, see its value, and really prepare them to overcome it. Change is scary, and people need context when it comes to change. Employees need to know why the change is happening and how it's going to impact them directly and how their job is going to be changing so that they can be prepared and confident to take that next step. When you think about it, reskilling, it's not just about sharing new knowledge or skills, it's about helping employees adapt to change. So when you think about that, yes, technical skills are important, but so are skills like adaptability, critical thinking, and collaboration. So we really need to think more about developing well-rounded employees who are ready to take on what's next. And when you think about it, it's really about building confidence, not just competence.